How's it going, Shaq?
Okay, look. Here's what'd you do? Take like a family vacation or some shit?
Yeah, I tried to do what I normally do
Mm-hmm.
and like plan ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You were very receptive to the idea. We had an extra session planned.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work out.
Right.
I overslept. I planned too much stuff. I couldn't make it happen. You suggested, Gastor, this could be a sign. God is saying, get some rest. You know what I mean? Put out the
Mm-hmm.
2 episodes we already got. No bonuses for a couple weeks.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I'm a rock with this shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the world changed.
I mean, look, when I had that, I will say admittedly sage advice, I did not realize that you know, I mean, Lord, did this happen? Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that a few days later, um, Biden was gonna put in his 6 months notice.
Yo.
And then tell us who he thinks should get hired. I did not realize that the country was going to wake up out of its stupor in the same way that all the people working in the sweatshop in the Wiz would when they killed the Wicked Witch. When they turned on the sprinklers and killed her. I didn't realize that we were all going to come out singing "Can You Feel a Brand New Day?" Um, but that is precisely what happened.
Yeah.
The whole world changed in 8 to 10 days, 8 to 10 business days.
Yo.
You out gallivanting around with your family. And I was just like, "Oh, well." I mean, even when we recorded, none of
It,
that would have happened, and it wouldn't have mattered.
yeah, no. If anything, I would have felt worse because it would have been double the episodes of us not
Us
acknowledging it.
having no clue. It would have been
Yeah.
twice a week. We would have been like, "Do do do do,"
You know what
no
I
clue.
mean?
Yeah. So
Have you seen these rats lately? Like for
yeah,
4 weeks.
yeah, we still talking rats. Oh boy.
Yo, it was so crazy that like Gabby told me this while I was like, I want to say 3 like pineapple and Malibu's in. Real talk. Like
Pineapple in Malibu.
real talk. I was
Oh.
feeling tropical. They ain't have pina coladas.
Uh-huh.
So I was doing pineapple and Malibu's.
Mhm.
My kids was in the pool.
Mhm.
And Gabby was like, yo, I think Biden dropped out. And like my first instinct was like, oh, he's in the summer league or something. Like, is he playing?
Right. Yeah.
Like, his fantasy team is losing. Is he quitting? Like, didn't the last thought I'm thinking is this dude is not running for president. When I left New York, he was super running for president. He was
Super duper running, hard-headed running
yo,
for president.
leaning in like, nah, B, I know I don't remember what I'm doing 23 hours a day, but on that 24th hour, I am sure I want to be
Right.
president.
Yeah.
That's how I understood it.
Yeah, that's how he was putting it out there.
Yo, Gabby tells me that. I'm like, nah, like the news must be different in Florida. That was like my genuine instinct was like, there's no way that they can't be reporting it like that in New York.
Right.
Maybe like this is what people talk about. That like, if you get your news sources different,
Oh, sure. Yes, right, right.
they might be misreporting it. You know what I mean?
That's how
I
they get
forget.
down in Florida. Right.
Real talk.
Yeah.
I'm in
Mhm.
Florida. They got a different paper. You know what I mean?
They've got a different paper.
Real talk. Everybody
Ugh.
like they're on a different website. I forget the name of that site. Which starts with the B. But everybody goes there for like the news source if they're Republican.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They on there. So I'm like, all right, maybe Gabby just overheard it wrong. You know what I mean? She was
Wait, the
getting,
Drudge Report?
I don't know. There's some like website that like
Oh, Breitbart.
Breitbart. Yeah,
Okay.
real
Okay,
talk.
got it. I'm with you now.
You know what I mean? So they like, all right, they on Breitbart. They getting they news weird.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And like it's misinterpreted. And I'm like, nah, Gab, you don't ignore that. We'll get the real shit back home. But nah, homie for real said deuces.
Oh my gosh. We'll get the real shit back home. Your
Real talk.
with your New
I
Yorker ass. Yeah, no. I think that's big enough that it probably could, be the truth.
yo, real talk, man. But yeah, I as soon as it happened, I was like, man, I should be potting right now, but no, I'm gonna lean into this vacation. Real talk. I spent like half hour trying to figure out like I could pot from here, I think. You know what I mean? I hit up Shalewa. We can figure something out. But I was like, no, I'm gonna do this vacation right. You know, I saw some alligators or crocodiles. I don't know which one it was,
Right.
but I saw those. A bunch of geckos.
Sure.
You know, and I'm excited about Kamala running for office. You know what I mean? Mike, real talk. I
Mhm.
am. I. What do you think?
Uh-oh.
Miss Harris or Obama? Who do you think has the better sneaker collection?
Oh, I don't okay. I don't think Obama really cares about sneakers.
Oh,
I think y'all put that on him because he likes to ball.
right,
I think he has a couple of pair of basketball sneakers that that are comfortable, that are broken in, that he plays in. And
right.
then, people probably gift him stuff, but he probably they go into a room for when people would like a donation from the president and they're like, "Give him these sneakers." So I think that is I think he likes the ball,
Yeah,
but I don't think he really gives a shit about sneakers like that. My man
yeah,
went to, law school and all that shit. I don't think he the balling is enough to win over black people.
yeah.
The shoes are for young folks, and he doesn't necessarily want to win over young folks because he's got kids. So he's not
Right.
trying to be friends with young people because he had a couple of young people and he's not trying to be their friend. He's trying to give them guidance. And you can't give them guidance while you're also talking about shoes. You know what I mean? I think we forget that he's actually kind of centrist. So really, he was, 4 clicks away from pull up your pants, but
Yo,
it was only a few clicks. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So he don't give a shit about that. Um, Kamala, I believe, has shown an allegiance to Converse Chuck Taylor, true
yeah.
old school Chuck Taylor low tops, um, which which look great. Um, but and I think that's probably what matters is that um they look good for the outfits that she has to put together.
Right.
But and they come in enough colors that she can get basic colors and it's fine. I bet she probably has a couple of black pairs. She probably has like natural white. She's probably got a pink and she's probably got a green for the sorority. Um, and probably red for a pop of color.
Ooh, okay.
That's really all you're a fashionable woman. Those are really the colors you need. You need a black, you need a white. Those are your neutrals. You need your pop of color. It's always red. Red is the best pop of color, no matter what you've got going on. Red is always the most effective pop of color. And then if you are in a sorority, you've got your sorority colors. And since she's
Okay.
an AKA, that's pink and green.
Huh. I
Yeah,
respect it. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I
I
was
think
thinking
that's how that
similar.
goes.
She's
Yeah.
definitely a style person. Like,
hmm
I feel like she's on Stock X every now and then.
I do not.
No?
No, I think she's got those Converse and she's good. I think that kind of drive that it takes to search for those sneakers, she put into politics. I think if y'all took the drive out of looking on sneakers on StockX, imagine what you could be if you weren't out here looking for sneakers all the fucking time. And I say this, and people think that I'm a sneakerhead because I seem to
Yeah.
step out with a lot of different kinds of sneakers. They're different colors of sneakers. They're all the same sneaker. I
That's
decided this is my brand. I go to Saucony.com. I see what's there that catches my eye. I buy a pair. Those are my ones for the year.
right.
Um, and that's what I do. I'm not battling nobody for no goddamn sneakers.
Nah, I'm about it.
Yeah,
I want to
exactly. And
be.
imagine,
Yeah.
and I mean, and you're a pretty driven person.
I
And you
feel
even
like
have decided on a uniform, and you still out here looking for
yeah,
sneakers because those are that's your zazz, that's your
yeah,
zhuzhing it up, that's your flair. So I understand why, but not everyone is doing that. Even if you see them in sneakers all the time, look carefully. Are they basically the same sneaker, maybe in different colors,
right,
or are they like some sort of weird, like you know, collector collective. One of my close friends, Kim, now she's a sneaker person. So
right.
she's on them. She resells, she does the whole thing. Um and I just go get Sauconys. And people see us together like, oh, look at these two sneakerheads. I'm like, one sneakerhead, one
Because
Saucony fan.
because Saucony is it's a niche brand. So like
Right.
when you
Yeah.
choose to rock it, it says something. Admittedly, even something you're not trying to say. But it gives the impression that's like, oh, like that's a deep cut. That's a quality sneaker that not everybody's wearing. So it's like you went further to get something you rock with.
True. That's true. It does have that. I mean, I it was many years ago that I just needed sneakers and I was looking for a pair of sneakers and I found some Sauconys in downtown, some store in downtown Atlanta. And I bought a light blue, like a Carolina blue and red. And I was like, these are comfortable and they're relatively cheap. These will work for me. And then so when I went to look for more sneakers, I was like, let's look for these again, you know. And then, you just find them where you find them. you know? What Zappo's talking about? Let's see what East Bay's talking about. You know what I mean? Like you just find them where you find them because you know they're going to work. And they worked because I tried on a bunch of different sneakers and they were the ones that were comfortable.
Huh.
Um, Nikes, y'all, I feel for y'all squozing your feet into these tiny ass Nikes and calling it fashion. All of you with foot aches and
Amen.
hammer toes. Good for you.
Real
But
talk. My feet are killing me.
I'm sure they are.
Real talk.
Everybody go up a size in a Nike and see how your world just bright like the clouds go away because you are in these tiny ass Nikes.
Real talk. I used to joke about it on stage that like the reason every man my age is angry is because like we wear sneaker technology from the 90s. Like there's so much more comfort in a
Mm,
modern sneaker, but we're like, nah, like 99,
right.
forever.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
whatever
like
that was it.
I know that the aesthetic, the kind of sneaker I like the most, the aesthetic is straight up 1970s Steve Prefontaine running shoe. I know it. I know. And that's
Amen.
what I'm going to go with. I'm very rarely going to go with anything that is bulbous in nature. Like I'm not going to
You
so
know,
I mean you're really not going to find uh a newer type of shoe on my feet. It's
I don't
all
expect you to change, but I
yeah.
will say,
Mm.
I honestly, I've always pictured you as a Diodora person.
Oh, those are fine. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
also soccer shoes. Actually, my
yeah,
roommate got a pair of Diodoras, and he gets a lot of compliments on 'em, and he
yeah,
glows with pride because people are like, "Ah, Diodoras." Yes,
yeah.
Diodoras are fine, but, they're usually like a hard leather.
Right.
They're a little bit bigger than I like, and so I don't normally mess with them
Okay.
because I usually like it a lot more of a lower profile. But I do like Diodoras, sure. I mean,
Okay.
there are other ones I like. I like Tree Torns; those are like preppy. Those are extremely preppy. Tennessee look type shoe. When K Swiss were popping in the late '80s, I enjoyed a K Swiss. Um, yeah, there are plenty of ones that are out there. Right now, we're going through an immense Adidas Sambas moment.
Okay.
Sambas and Gazelles, and those are my exact style. Like that's what I like, but it's too much. New York, please. you're doing too much with the sambas. And also, in my head, those are wired to soccer players because when I was in high school, only the soccer players wore those mostly. And then
Ah.
only the cooler kids were playing soccer because this was the South, so everybody else was all wrapped up in football. So it meant something when you had on black and white sambas with big, puffy, like white socks. That meant something. So now I'm seeing all these kids in these black and white sambas, and I'm like, "All y'all play soccer? What's going on?" You know, it took me a minute. So,
Oh, that's
anywho,
awesome. Okay. Well,
yeah.
I say that because like I don't expect it, but
Mhm.
this is the assuming she wins.
Mhm.
This is the highest chance we've had for a sneaker to be worn by a president at their inauguration.
She's not gonna wear a sneaker at the inauguration.
Nah,
Get the No, she's a woman.
but she did
We
it
are
for
not
the
gonna
VP.
allow that. The reason she's not wearing sneakers now like she was. And you know why? Because she's running for president.
Yeah, it's
She ain't
different.
running for vice president. When she was vice president, she couldn't seem bigger than Joe Biden.
Right.
So that's why she wore sneakers.
You know, it's funny you mention that. Like, I honestly think that's why Joe never worked for me as president. I like him as a dude. And
Uh-huh.
I feel like to be a good VP, you're not necessarily it's like president is like a parent and like VP is cool uncle or cool aunt. You know what I mean? So she's like, when she came in with the sneakers, I'm like, oh, that's a cool aunt. You
Right.
know what I mean? I could go for her for advice. Mom and dad gonna yell at me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I go for her for advice. Joe is cool uncle, but I could never believe him as dad. He's cool uncle energy only. Or grandpa. I could
Is
see
he
grandpa.
is he cool uncle because you knew him as a vice president?
I think there's certain VPs that I could see becoming president. I genuinely never saw him as that. I felt like he was always a VP to me.
Oh, okay. All
You know what I
right.
mean? Like he was I rocked with him as a VP.
Mhm.
But like, and I could even see a world where he could have been president before. I didn't know
Oh,
that version of him. But by the
yeah. I
time I
mean,
saw him, that dude was an OG uncle grandpa.
right, right,
You
right,
know what
right,
I
right.
mean? Like I
Okay.
love my dad. I see leadership in him. You know what I mean? As a man in his stories. But
Mhm.
like he too old to be CEO now. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like I don't want him playing ball on the courts. You know what I
Okay.
mean? He
All
could
right.
coach.
Well, I mean, that's why it's only gonna be one term for Joe.
One and done, baby.
But he he truly was just trying. I mean, he was there to rescue us.
Yo, man, I appreciate it. Real talk, man.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So now we're just trying to stay out of it.
Amen.
Because I mean, we still are 1 foot in it. I mean, we've been 1 foot in it this for his whole presidency. Um, so I don't know, man.
I think she got it. I think she gonna come out swinging. I
Oh no,
think the
she's
people
gonna
gonna
come
get
out
behind it.
swinging. I
Real talk.
saw. I watched a little bit of analysis on it last night, and someone noted that it, she's slippery for Trump because she likes to fight and she's
Yeah.
dealt with bullies. And
Mhm.
so he can bully her and she will just be like, okay.
Yeah,
And
B.
I don't think, and so they're trying to figure out like the best way to do that. And I think if she is able, like, there's this whole, I don't even know if this is one of our stories about the use of weird, the Democrats using weird right now.
No.
Okay. So the way this all happened during the 8 to 10 days that you were gone, she came out, we're all rejuvenated, and we've started referring to Trump and the right wing and Republicans all in the same way, and that is to just kind of call them weird. And because they're doing weird shit, JD Vance, everyone, they're doing weird shit and they say weird things. And for the most part, Democrats have been like, um, we take the high road and all that bullshit.
Right.
So, or we're wringing our hands like, well, we have to take the high road, or someone will say something and somebody else will be like, well, actually, that's ableist. And it's like, oh, Lord, we're never going to get anywhere if we're going to keep checking each other on teeny tiny things. We're trying to get to the big thing, which is that monster over there.
Right.
So that's been a constant fight. But what Democrats seem to have stumbled on is just kind of calling it, and I think right now they're going, not that they're going too hard, but I think the chatter about Democrats calling Republicans weird is, it's running a cycle where it's just like, okay, already. I'd rather they just continue to do it, maybe use another word. But that energy, keep the energy. Maybe use different words, but keep the energy of just like, do you hear what they're saying? Like this dude, do you hear what this
Right.
guy's saying? Ugh. I mean, okay, but yikes. Maybe we should
Hmm.
switch to yikes. I think we should switch
Ooh.
from weird to yikes. Anytime a Republican or anyone in the Trump camp says something, or JD Vance, for the love of God, anytime he says something, I think the official response from the Democrats should be yikes. And
Uh,
then you can change the like, if it's a little thing, all lowercase yikes. If it's a
right.
normal, like, a capital Y, yikes. If it's like huge and really crazy, all caps with a period in between. Y period, I period, K period, E period, S period. Yikes. Add extra I's if it's really insane. Yikes. You know what I mean? Like, let's hit them with the yikes. I
I
think
rock with that.
I think that that'll work too. Just like yikes, and then go back into talking about what the Democrats can do.
I'm on board.
Yeah,
Yikes.
because it's the same energy as weird. And also, Republicans seem to be freaking out at being called weird. Trump doesn't know; they don't seem to know exactly what to do with it. And unfortunately, they are weird. So they keep saying weird stuff. And so, what are you going to do when someone? It's like we tried ignoring them. We tried going. Let's just not necessarily get down in a fight, but I mean, like, Kamala will fight. I mean, we've seen
Yeah,
her in Congress. She
she
ain't
about
above.
it.
Yeah, she
She
is,
about it.
absolutely. He don't Trump don't wanna, Trump don't want the smoke,
Nah, cause like,
ultimately.
yo, everything. Cause like, once Joe said like, yo, I ain't running. Trump realized, and I think everyone there realized that like everything I was cracking on Joe about, I got the same
Okay,
problems. It's just he had them worse. You know what I
right.
mean? Like, I'm also very old. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
now
Like,
now I'm the old man at the club.
yeah, real
The
talk. You
other older
78,
man
my G.
left, and now I'm the old man at the club.
Yo, you look funny now, homie. Like, hold up.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
and they invested so much. Everything they planned was anti-Joe, and they were
Yeah.
not prepared for Kamala, which, to be fair, I understand it because Joe's so hard-headed. That's why we were all shocked, because he's so hard-headed. We really
Yo.
didn't think he was gonna leave. I really didn't think he was gonna leave. I was just like, "Oh Lord, let me figure out which work camp I wanna be in. If this is how it's gonna be, which one? Do I stay up here, or do I try to get my sister to work at a camp up here, or do I go down there to be in a work camp?" Like, I really was like, "Ugh, let's see." So, yeah, so they definitely were caught off guard. Now he's the old man at the club. He's trying. He's like, "Oh, well, I just learned that she's like 60. I mean, I thought she was a little younger than that, but it turns out she's 60." Bruh.
Yeah, my G.
But
You a
she still
whole
got a
adult
lot of,
older. Real
yeah.
talk.
You still could. I mean, what is he, like, 80?
He's 78.
He's 78. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, B. Real talk. You know, I got into a fight with with somebody at a Disney, like, I forget what those called, like a Disney outlet store,
Okay.
over this very thing. Like, it like came up like me and Gabby and the kids were like shopping on the last day,
Mhm.
and like I overheard a dude saying like some like, yeah, I can't believe like she running, you know what I mean? Like, she ain't real. And you know what I mean? I really like Trump because he tells it how it is. And I'm like, how it is where? You know what I mean? Like, and I couldn't hold it. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
like, we're like both, and like a part of us was the same, you know? Because
yeah.
we're both in the Disney like outlet store, like looking at like Captain America like statuettes.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's looking at it because he's pro America. I'm pro comic book in Brooklyn. All right.
Uh-huh.
So but we were together. But as soon as we were bonding, like, oh, like we was passing toys to each other. But he said that to his homie, and I was like, I couldn't hold it. I was like, what are you talking? Like, where is this how it is that
Mhm.
you are hearing? And he's like, like in the word. I'm like, I don't know. I've never heard him say a thing that I'm like, oh, true. Not once. So I'd argue that that's his whole persona.
Right.
Even before being president, his whole thing was overselling his thing.
Right, yeah.
He at the least he exaggerates.
At the
That's
very
literally,
least.
you know what I mean? Like, you gotta say that. Like, at the least he's
At his
just
waking moment, he exaggerates.
yo,
Yes.
like that's his like baseline. And you
Right.
telling me he's telling it how it is, like that's not what he does. That is his whole thing. Is not telling it how it is. It's telling
Right.
it too much.
Right.
That's his whole brand. So like I ain't gonna argue with you liking him. Cool. But like don't tell me he tells it how it is. He don't tell facts. He's a hype man. Like that's his whole thing. Real
Right.
talk.
Yes.
So we go back and forth and he's like, I don't like this toy. I'm like, I feel you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You won't be able to cop this if Trump gets elected, okay? Because the economy gonna go in the trash. We all gonna be shopping at these places. Okay? Real talk. And then I like talked a lot of shit about Florida people to Michaela the whole way home.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
I was like, see, that's why we can't move to Florida. We're gonna be disagreeing with
No.
people.
Okay.
You're gonna end up thinking like this. I can't have it.
Okay. It is possible. First of all, those kids are old enough and they're New Yorkers. They're not they're going to make up their own mind. And it can get you at any time. Also, I think you're the reason. Florida's going Florida, you know. You got to decide when and where. No, so you can't put all of that on the state. Also, you weren't in Florida. You were in Disney.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's a different. I believe that's a different set of laws. That's a different. That they even that someone in a costume didn't jump in between you two and do a dance to keep the conversation from continuing is shocking to me.
Yo, real talk. It was so I was super unintentionally like, well, and I'm not pro Florida. Everyone knows that. I'm not
Oh,
pro. I'm not like, no offense to the
okay.
people of Florida. I like y'all are nice people,
Mhm.
but like in my heart, I'm not supposed to be there. And
Okay.
everything that's a positive about Florida doesn't sound like a positive to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't like hot. Everyone talks about the beaches, and yet no one lives near a beach.
Mhm.
Every single person's like, yeah, you go to the beaches, and they're like, yeah, I'm like an hour away. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. There's
Mhm.
beaches that I could fly to that I would get to faster in New York than you could drive to this beach.
Mhm.
Like having the beach in the state doesn't mean you have beach access. That's not how that works.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's not a sales pitch to me. I don't
Mhm.
like mosquitoes. I don't like that at all. I
Okay.
don't like that everyone, you know, the amount of people, like, I'm trying to figure out how to like there's like a way that certain people in Florida dress
Oh no.
when they retired,
Oh.
where like
Well,
it's
those
not
are.
like
Oh, go ahead.
there's like something about Florida. It's like everyone is dressed in clothes that like it's not like I like it. It's more like, yo, I got a great deal on this, and like I
What do
don't
you mean?
like people will buy a shirt not because it was a nice shirt, but because it was $5. That
Okay.
makes sense, and like they've decided that as a whole that's like the goal is to, and it's not a shirt on, like it's not a clothes thing. I'm not even shaming on that. Like as a society, Florida prioritizes budget as a culture.
Again, you were in Disney.
Yeah,
Yes. Do you understand how much it costs to go to Disney? I'm sure you do.
yeah, it's a
You
lot.
were just there. It's a lot. People have gone without meals for months in order to take their children to Disney. So no, they're not
Like,
wearing their Sunday best.
yo, like that whole it just irked me. I'm like, yo, like you don't like that. Like everybody be like, yo, you gotta try this burger place. The burgers are $2. I'm like, are they good? I don't care. Like, I'm not saying show me a $50 burger, but like the first thing they mentioned about everything was how cheap it was.
Right.
And especially when they compared it to New York. They're like,
Right.
nah, and I'm like, that's great, but I'm like, is it a good thing? Like, I don't care if the pizza is $1, if it's a trash slice. I don't eat those here. I don't
Right.
want dollar
Right.
slice.
Right.
I want a good thing. You know what I mean?
I think I think that part of that might be you being in Disney. Part of that might be, you know, that that might have always been their baseline
Okay.
and that it's not your baseline. And
Yeah.
part of me just wants to mention that, my man, you wear Dickies everywhere. So you made your decision.
Gang gang. Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
look insane to them.
Yeah, that's fair. I
Why
got a
is
lot of
this
questions.
maintenance man
Real talk.
freely walking around the amusement park?
Real talk.
Yeah.
I was at resorts. There's like, yo, this dude, like, okay, you work here? Like, nah, B. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying the beach.
So
Just
you
like
are
you.
wearing uniforms on a vacation.
Hell
So
yeah.
you got to keep that in mind.
Right through the beach every day.
Yes. So, like, it's not that it looks cheap. It's probably just, is it a shirt with a print that's worn open over a tank top and then some
Yeah.
shorts?
A
Yeah,
lot of
they're
that.
in the South and it's hot. That's what you're seeing.
You get water.
No, no, hun. You would for real fall out if you were it is humid constantly.
Yeah, real talk.
The reason that people talk about beaches so much in Florida is because they get the effect of living near the water with all of the tornadoes and all of the hurricanes, I mean.
Ah.
Oh, yeah, hurricanes, not tornadoes. So hurricanes come up through the Gulf of Mexico and just rip Florida apart every year. But
Okay.
they don't get to live on the water. They just get the humidity of being near enough because it's skinny. It's a long way up and down. And across, it's, it's
Yeah.
whatever. But, on either side of that is not another state, it's water. So it's humid constantly. Storms are coming through there because they're coming off of bodies of water.
Right.
And they are just in a swamp.
Huh.
So water affects the state, even if they are seemingly landlocked. The water's coming up from below. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah. So they still talk about beach stuff because it's around them in a way that you can talk about the beach, but someone in Buffalo can't. You know what I mean? Like you can because we're on islands.
Right.
So, and we
Okay.
can get to a beach. I think that might be why they talk about it, because it's it's very humid and storms come through. And
You know what,
so
Florida? I take it back. Shalewa sold me. Okay.
but
Y'all are
as
good
far as
people.
the clothing thing, it's not that it's cheap, it's just that it's not Dickies.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
loose clothing because it's hot and sticky.
no, I'm realizing like they might have just been like, yo, this dude, like, this is all he got. Is just work clothes. Like
Right, yeah. I don't
maybe
know
he
if
just needs to
maybe
know
he
where he
needs
could
to
get
know
stuff.
where the $2
Yeah.
hamburgers are because he's literally walking on the beach in Dickies with a carabine of keys.
You know what? Y'all being helpful, considerate, I'm an
This
asshole.
man
I'm sorry, Florida.
wore his Timbs on the beach. Let's see if we can get him a reasonably priced hamburger.
Real talk. Everybody was just telling me about deals. And I'm like, I hear you, but I don't get it. I don't
And
understand.
also, again, you were in Disney. They're probably assuming, like they are, that you ain't got no more money
Yeah. I'm
because
splurged.
you spend it all to be at Disney.
Yeah. Nah, that's real.
Yeah, go to Tampa.
Yeah.
You know, they are near
Ah.
close to a beach. They are legit close to a beach, and there are special things in Tampa. I'm going to assume. I've never been. Why would
I
I
gotta
go to
do that. Yeah.
Tampa? Why
We
would I
did.
go to Tampa? Come on, let's be real.
I love Yeah, I went from saving me to shots fired by Sha. I love it.
Well, let's come on. Y'all got I don't know, you got a beach or something? That's great. But why am I going to Tampa?
But I will say shots to Crystals. That was cool. Nice little White Castle alternative.
Oh,
I enjoyed
wow.
that.
Oh, wow. Okay, my
And
head.
Bahama Breeze was nice. This is a food chain. They don't have it in New York. That was cool.
Oh,
I
there are
bought.
no Bahama Breezes up here?
I don't think
I
if they
guess
do, I don't
not.
know of them. Yeah,
No,
I
no,
never
'cause
heard
it
of the chain.
Oh, you hadn't?
That was the first
Oh,
time I heard of it was down there, and I
yeah.
kept insisting we go. See, that was the one place the budget sold me. Real talk. I bought a round of drinks for like 16 people, spent $24 and I
Yeah.
tipped them.
Yeah, that, Bahama Breeze was basically, it's like the island Olive Garden,
Yeah.
owned by the same company too. So, my
Okay.
sister worked at Olive Garden, and that's how there wasn't a Bahama Breeze close to where the Olive Garden where she worked or where we grew up, but there was one a little bit further out in the suburbs, in the
Hell
deep
yeah.
suburbs that you could get to. But yeah, no, that sure. Yes, that makes sense.
Real
But
talk.
yes, for those who don't know what a Bahama Breeze is, which
Bahama Breeze,
I
baby.
guess it didn't make it up here.
Nah,
So
that's a Florida only thing. You know what I mean?
nope. I just said my sister in Georgia. It's a suburban American thing.
Okay, okay.
Oh my
Bring
gosh.
one to New York, baby. I had a blast there. You know
If
what I
they
mean?
bring one, it'll be in Times Square and you won't enjoy it.
Yeah, nah. Like a big part of the pitch was how cheap the drinks were, admittedly.
Yeah,
That was the
and
first
you
time I
won't
was
get
like,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, you
that'll
won't
go
get
away at
that in New
Times Square.
York. Yeah, mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, being
Listen.
in New York actually, messes up everything when it comes to how cheap things are. Like, there's New York math, and then there's, at this point, there's New York math, there's San Francisco math,
Uh,
there's a little bit of LA math, and then there's the rest of the country math, which is fluctuating wildly. But there are still places where you can go and go, wow, this is much cheaper than, you know,
real talk.
yeah.
Yo, hold on. Florida, y'all doing good out there. Real talk. I'm the whole other side now. I'm looking up houses. I
Oh,
I might move
wait
down
now.
there. My
No, no,
brother-in-law,
no.
he lives in this quiet little town I never heard of.
What's it called?
Lasahatchee.
What?
Lasahatchee.
Okay.
It's like a little suburb town.
All right.
I don't know if anything. I don't think there's laws there. Like he's used the like he drove through. It was really nice at first, and then by the time we got to his block, like he was like, "This is my house. This is my yard,"
Mhm.
and like then he was like, "I that," and he pointed to like a his neighbor,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Well, how do you know who's who?" He's like, "We just know." And I was like, but there's no fence. He's like, don't worry about it. He's like, we're working on that. But
Mhm.
like, we know where the property line ends.
Mhm.
And that made me uncomfortable. Like, I like, division. Like New York is like,
You know by the cut of the grass.
yeah, that's what he was saying. He was
Yeah,
like,
because unless you guys are cutting grass at the exact same time, one, it's gonna be a little longer on one side than the other, and that's how you know.
yeah, he was like, they
Yeah,
got
no,
different people to come cut.
there's a whole lot
Straight
of
up.
suburban shit you'll have to learn.
Yo, I had to go
Yeah.
outside he showed me where the water was kept. He was
Oh,
like,
does is
he has
he
like a hot
well?
water thing. Yeah, like a well for hot water. And like he catches rainwater now.
Okay.
Him and his neighbors, like they're the reason they're further out in the sticks. The rest of La Sahachi is like nice,
Mhm.
but like where they live, there's no HOA, and that
Good
was like
for
a big
them.
deal. Yeah, they were like, we want no HOA, and like I asked them why, and they're like, because they tell you what to do, and I was like, we want to get chickens, and like they're like them and the neighbors, they all got chickens and other
Mhm.
animals, and you can't get that in the HOA place.
Right.
So like you wake up, there's like roosters and chickens just roaming around the block.
Mhm.
And he was like, I gotta get my own chickens. I was like, yo, my man, like, we all got chickens here. Even though your neighbor only owns them, they're like free roaming. They don't believe in the no fence system.
Right.
So they're yours and theirs.
No, they're
It was
not.
cool.
No.
No, I thought it was beautiful. It sold me. I met a bunch of geckos.
You met a bunch of get
Yeah. Like they came over and they would just chill with me in the front of the house. It was beautiful, you know? Uh I've changed a lot, Sha. Real talk. Like
Yeah, I see.
it was an
I s
experience.
mm,
Florida opened my mind a lot.
that's
So
great.
yeah. Lasahachi, baby. I'm out here.
Okay.
East
All
New
right.
York's finest, going to Lasahachi. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Podcast gonna be different, okay?
Yeah. Is it? It's still. I feel like it's still going to be me explaining a few things to you. A few.
The water smelled funny.
Yes. Yes.
That was the big
Florida
thing for me.
water is
Yo,
terrible because
yeah,
it is because it's surrounded by bad water.
real
Yeah.
talk.
No, here's a thing I will say to anyone who wants to talk shit about New York. You know, for a lot of it, I'm like, well, I mean, that's just how it works, blah, 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 blah. But I will defend to the death New York water. It
Yo,
is truly like out of the tap, it is truly
it's
good
good.
water. It, rarely do I have to let the brown run out. How about that? And so so
Yo,
that's a thing that I definitely, I will, yes, and the first time, I haven't been to Florida many times, maybe only once. So,
ooh,
the time I was in Florida, I remember drinking water and going, "This is horrible." And someone's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, no, you only want bottled water." Um,
yeah,
yeah, it's very bad because of, I think, just the water sources are not
right.
great. Because I mean, I assume they're pulling from uh yeah, I guess the lower part of, just all of that is just, I don't know, it's just not as clean as it could be, or there's just something in the water. I mean, I don't know if they're pulling water from the Gulf of Mexico or not, but I do know there are a lot of oilers out there. Like the Gulf of
Yo,
Mexico is a real stew. So I don't know if that is, but yes, no,
yo,
their water is terrible and it smells, yes,
it's rough. Like
it's rough.
I knew my brother-in-law and his wife, like, in really nice hosting. I was like genuinely had a good time. But like admittedly, the whole trip they were making a hard sell of like, yo, you should move to Florida.
Right.
And like that was the one thing that he was like, yo, I'm gonna tell you how dope Florida is all week.
Mhm.
The water is ass. Like I don't
Yeah,
drink that
you
at all.
can't.
He didn't even like make any
No one
justification.
should defend that water at all.
Real
Yeah.
talk. He took me to the garage and he's like, yo, we got the office machines where you put the jug. He
Mhm.
said, we got those in the kitchen, the living room, and in the garage. You thirsty? I got like 50 of these. And he took the whole garage. He's like, there's no car. There's just water jugs. He's like, if there's an emergency, I got water to last me. Cause like that first week we moved here, I ran out of water and I had to wait for my delivery like another week.
Mhm.
And like I had to drink that shit. I was like, never again. He's like, I'm backed up. I'm stored. I'm off
Yeah.
the head. So he's like, I'm gonna tell you all the dope shit about Florida. The water, atrocious. I'll never
Mm.
sell that to you.
Yeah.
Real talk. But yeah, outside of that, good time. I had a blast out there. You know what I mean? My whole life, I found out Joe. You know what I mean? Real talk, Joe. I hope you write a tell-all book one day where either like you tell us how you came to the decision of stepping down, or maybe like yo, low key, you just come out and say like some real like crazy shit, like yo, this is my plan all along. You know what I
I
mean? On
mean, he
some,
did, I feel like he put out that memo on a Sunday,
yeah,
in the middle of the day, and just put it on social media, didn't contact any actual media. So I don't know if you saw that Wolf Blitzer had tweeted before the memo that he was out getting brunch. He was drinking some fucking cocktail that is named after him. He was getting his life. Had a picture of him holding a cocktail, like, "Hey, we out here, Sunday brunch." And then literally 2 hours later was in the CNN studio looking serious because now he's got to talk about this memo of Joe Biden deciding not to run again. And everybody on Twitter was just like, did you get that drink to go? What happened, bruh? Never let him know that you were in the city. So this past Sunday, he was out of town. He was nowhere in DC. He was on vacation. So like if somebody decided to pull some more Sunday shit, he was like, I ain't gonna be there. Y'all need to find somebody else to talk about it.
bro. There's only so many people that could drop out at this point. Okay.
I mean, I guess so, but I guess anything could happen, but it also feels like what a relief. Like she still has to, by the time you're listening to this, if you're listening on
Yeah.
Thursday or Friday, she hasn't named her VP pick yet, but she
Mm.
will, I think, make the announcement next week and whatnot. So there's still that, and people are still speculating on who it could be. Um, she said that she will give that announcement in Philly.
Okay.
So everybody's worried. Well, not worried. Some people are worried that she's going to pick, oh, was it the governor there or someone who's like, I think maybe the governor of Pennsylvania, who is maybe not great to
Right.
galvanize. People have some issues with that person. But I floated out that it could maybe be Quinta Brunson or Freeway, um,
Ooh.
which was a funny enough thought that I put out on Twitter. But now I'm getting people responding, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm as up to date on Philly rap as I should be.
Real talk.
But I'm like, okay, no, I know who that is. Yep, I know who that one is. So far, no one has stumped me with a Philly rapper. But I mean, I'm not Philly. But I'm just saying, let's think. Let's really
Oh,
we could
got
shake things
Black
up.
Thought. You know what I
But
mean?
uh, even with that, it feels like okay. There's no un oh, things don't feel as unsure. People feel unsure footing. We're like,
Right.
oh, she's going to run. She's pretty much locked. All the delegates have said, yeah, we're gonna
Right.
throw it to her. She's raising a ridiculous amount of money. The Zoom calls. Have you heard about those?
No, no. What's happening on Zoom?
Almost every breakdown of people you can imagine has had a Zoom call where they are like, okay, here are our concerns. Also a fundraiser. People are pledging money, but here we're like let's just say it now. We're gonna throw our support behind her. Here's what we would like for her to here are our concerns, basically, but we're throwing support behind you. So black women, I think was the first one. So there was a
Right.
black woman Zoom. Um and then
How they order black women find out? How many black women went to
I
this?
mean a
Did you
lot.
go?
No, I ain't go. I ain't see no links or nothing. I'm not. I ain't see nothing. White women went, right?
Okay. Okay.
Black men. I mean, all shocking, all of this. But like
Yeah.
and then like a few days ago, white men.
Wow. Okay. Shout out white
And
boys.
yeah, and they had people speaking and just like, "Hey, don't fuck this up." Things like that. Like just real like I don't know. I guess I could do some digging. Maybe I'd go on Reddit maybe and find a link or some shit to watch the calls and or watch the Zoom meetings just to kind of see what it was like. But no one ain't send me no link for nothing. Which I mean, I guess is fine, but but yeah, like I saw people on it and live tweeting, and I know people were lurking for sure, had their camera off, changed their name. Like I have to change, yeah, I'd have to change my whole thing, my backup picture, everything. I just have to make it all just somebody else. But yeah, so like people are getting their groups, and they're like, "Hey, look, this time." uh like beat them let's beat them. But she has to win over all kinds of folk. And like that's gonna be tough. It was always going to be tough. It's always going to
Right.
be tough. So but if we can keep up like this energy, I think maybe there's a shot.
Okay.
If the same energy can be kept, because it's going to get ugly. But you don't live as a black woman, as an Indian woman, in America. You don't live to 60 without being like, okay,
Yeah. Nah. She
yeah,
been through it.
yeah, she's been through some shit. Okay, so
Amen. If you
uh
would like
yeah, oh wow, yeah,
to come to the next Zoom meeting, okay?
yeah, let
If
us know.
real talk, hey, send us the link. You know what I mean?
Yo, is there like a podcaster Zoom for
Yeah, real talk. We got concerns too. Okay. You
Right.
want better internet connections?
Better connection.
Real talk.
A
You know what I
mic,
mean?
a chicken in every pot, and a mic in every hand. Come on. We can
All
do
you gotta do
that.
is like and subscribe to the show, baby. If you're an Apple or Spotify listener, we appreciate your ratings. 4 stars. You don't think there should be a podcast Zoom? Messed up, B. We got concerns, okay? They valid, okay? We can't. We got to figure this out as a community. Plus, low key, we probably make up half of the country, okay? Everybody got a podcast.
Yeah, everybody has a podcast.
Real talk. 5 stars, you're gonna be there with a fake name too. That's what's up. Looking forward to seeing you. Real talk. I'm gonna meet you and then not know who you are, but it's gonna be great.
Yep.
Real talk. If you got any articles you want us to cover, please DM us directly on Twitter and Instagram at Silky Jumbo or at Gastor Almonte. Shout outs this week to Brandy Spain, Lori McDaniel, and Bob Catface. Appreciate your articles, even though, sorry, we covered none of them
Yeah, we didn't touch
today.
them. We'll get
But,
to them, maybe.
We'll get to them, hopefully.
I think so. But, it was just, it was Gastor's idea to do a topical podcast. And then he went on vacation and topics kept popping up. We didn't even touch the Olympics, my man.
Real
Next
talk.
time, bonus. We'll do it on the bonus, I guess.
Boom, boom. Real talk, B.
I mean, and the Olympics. Like, come on. I need to talk about rugby.
Oh, man. With all that said, I am the, let me see here. I am the, what's my secret name for this Monte.
What? Oh, is this going to be your fake name?
Yeah,
for
my
Zoom?
fake name. Monte Water Store instead of gas store.
Okay.
Yeah, Monte Water Store.
Yeah, that doesn't sound ethnic at all.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You can slide right by.
There we go. With
mine's Jill Ellis.
Ooh, Jill Ellis.
Yeah.
I was thinking with like something. I was gonna be like Rebecca Rounded. You know what I mean? You still get the alliteration.
I don't think I'm much of a Rebecca for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm a Jill, but I feel like I'm not a Rebecca.
Not a Rebecca. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. No shade to any Rebecca.
No, I
great,
get it.
But I feel like there's a certain spunk there that I don't think I have. But Jill's are
Jill, all right.
Jill, maybe.
It's not fitting, but I want to call you Ramona.
Well, that just means I'm old. If I'm giving you Ramona, I'm old. At least call me Beezus. I don't know. Don't give me Ramona. And yeah. That's for my Beverly Cleary heads out there.
Oh, man. This has been an always deep cut laced episode of the War Report. Oh, man. We started with Socrates. Goddamn. I know. Real talk. Deep cuts only.
Yeah. Socrates, a scene from The Wiz.
Thousands of listeners, but this podcast is probably for 4 people. Okay?
Probably.
Everyone else is just like, huh? They seem like they're having a great time.
I like to support them, but I don't know.
Oh, man. I got like one of my homeboys, Bishop, is a fan of the show. And like, he hit me up and he's like, yo, like, I always like listen to your show in like, in bulk. So like, like whenever like his job like rotates. So like he has like a week every month where he's like in the office. So he's like, I'll bulk listen. So like, I'm like always like a month behind.
Great. Yeah.
And then like I listen to him Zoom and he's like, I just gotta tell you, normally you are the craziest person on the pod. But when Shalewa said that she started watching The Wire 4 seasons in and never went back, he like, that is sociopath shit. He's like, I don't know how she does that. It's crazy work.
I love it. Everybody, y'all need to be scared of me. Y'all don't know what I'm capable of.
Real
I don't need all your backstory.
You got, real talk. Peter Bishop is that's my homie. He is the most teddy bear dude I know. I love that dude. He is so like heartwarmingly wholesome. For that dude to text me, he voice messaged me out of concern over this shit. He was like, yo, listen, like, I don't know what's like, Shalewa was normally the level-headed one, but that concerned me. He's like, I just needed you to know.
That's so funny.
Oh
That's
man.
so funny. I feel so seen. Thank you. Thank
Catch
you.
y'all next time. Peace.